Every day, life tests your mind. Someone speaks harshly. Something goes wrong. Plans break. Expectations fail. In these moments, most people react without thinking. They raise their voice. They rush to defend their ego. They let anger choose their actions. This is not strength. This is surrender. A trained mind does not react. It responds. Reaction is fast and blind. It comes from habit, fear, and pride. Response is slow and deliberate. It comes from awareness, reason, and self-control. One costs you peace. The other protects it. Reaction is surrender, because it hands your power to whatever happens outside you. The moment you react without thought, you allow events, people, and emotions to decide your behavior. Anger pulls the strings. Fear pushes the body forward or forces it to retreat. Pride demands instant defense. In reacting, you are no longer choosing. You are being moved. This is why reaction feels fast and loud but leaves regret behind. It is not strength. It is the absence of discipline. A reaction comes from habit. Years of conditioning tell the mind how to behave when it feels threatened or disrespected. Someone raises their voice, and yours rises higher. Someone insults you, and you strike back with words sharper than theirs. This pattern feels natural, but it is learned weakness. The mind has not been trained to pause. It has only been trained to explode or escape. When you react, you lose clarity. Thoughts narrow, the body tightens, judgment becomes poor. You may feel justified in the moment, but later you wonder why you said what you said or did what you did. Reaction steals the future for the comfort of the present. It trades long-term peace for short-term relief. Response is control because it restores choice. A response begins with awareness. You notice the emotion rising instead of becoming it. You feel anger, but you do not let anger speak for you. You feel fear, but you do not let fear decide your path. This space between feeling and action is where control lives. Control does not mean suppressing emotions. It means understanding them. Emotions are signals, not orders. They point to something, but they do not know what is best. Reason must guide the final action. When you respond, reason is allowed to enter the room before the decision is made. Responding requires patience, and patience is trained through practice. The first step is slowing down the body. A slow breath tells the nervous system that there is no immediate danger. When the body calms, the mind follows. From calm comes clarity. From clarity comes better action. A response is measured. It considers consequences. It asks simple questions. Will this matter tomorrow? Is this worth my energy? Is this within my control? These questions pull you out of impulse and into intention. You stop acting like a leaf blown by the wind and start acting like a person steering their direction. Control also means accepting what you cannot change. Many reactions are born from resistance. You want the world to behave differently. You want people to think differently. You want outcomes to bend to your will. When they do not, frustration rises. A response accepts reality first, then chooses the best action within it. To respond is to remain free. No one can force a response out of you. They can only provoke a reaction if you allow it. When you choose your response, you take ownership of your character. You act according to your values, not according to pressure. This kind of control is quiet. It does not seek attention. It does not announce itself. Others may not notice your restraint, but you will feel it. You will feel lighter. You will sleep better. You will respect yourself more. Over time, responding becomes natural. The mind learns that it does not need to rush. It learns that peace is protected through restraint. What once triggered instant reaction now meets calm observation. You begin to understand that real power is not loud or aggressive. It is steady and deliberate. Reaction gives control away. Response takes it back. One leaves you at the mercy of circumstances. The other places you firmly in command of yourself. Between what happens to you and what you do about it, there is a pause. Most people never notice it. They move too fast, carried by emotion, pushed by habit, dragged by impulse. This pause may be small, almost invisible, but it is where all power begins. If you miss it, life controls you. If you use it, you control yourself. The mind is quick to react because it wants comfort and safety. When something feels threatening or unfair, the mind rushes to protect the ego. It answers before listening. It attacks before understanding. This speed feels like strength, but it is only fear wearing armor. Without a pause, there is no choice, only reflex. The pause is not weakness. It is restraint. It is the moment you decide not to be ruled by the first feeling that appears. In that short silence, you step out of automatic behavior. You stop being a machine running on old patterns. You become aware. Awareness changes everything. When you pause, you notice your breathing. You feel the tension in your body. You see the emotion forming instead of being swallowed by it. This awareness gives you distance, and distance gives you control. Many conflicts grow because no one pauses. One harsh word meets another. One angry action invites another. The situation escalates not because it had to, but because no one stopped to think. A pause breaks this chain. It interrupts the cycle before it gains strength. This pause does not require time. It does not need minutes or hours. A single breath is enough. A moment of silence is enough. The power is not in how long you wait, but in the fact that you wait at all. When you pause, reason enters the mind. You begin to ask simple questions. What is really happening here? What part of this is under my control? What action would I respect later? These questions guide you away from regret and toward dignity. The pause also protects your energy. Not every situation deserves a response. Not every comment needs your attention. When you pause, you can choose to walk away, to stay silent, or to respond calmly. You stop wasting energy on things that do not matter. Training the pause is daily work. It begins in small moments. Pausing before replying to a message. Pausing before speaking in anger. Pausing before making a decision when emotions are high. Each pause strengthens the mind, like a muscle growing through use. At first, the pause feels uncomfortable. The mind wants release. It wants to react. It wants to defend itself. But discomfort is the price of growth. Each time you resist impulse, you build inner strength. The pause is where freedom lives. No one can take it from you. No matter how loud the world becomes, you always have the ability to stop and choose. This is why the pause is power. Those who master this space move through life with calm confidence. They are not easily shaken. They do not chase every emotion. They do not hand their peace to strangers or circumstances. When you learn to pause, you stop being controlled by the outside world. You stop living in constant reaction. You begin living with intention, clarity, and self-command. The pause is small, but its impact reaches into every part of your life. Emotions rise quickly, often without permission. They appear in the body before the mind has time to think. Anger heats the chest. Fear tightens the stomach. Pride stiffens the posture. These feelings are natural, but they are not leaders. When you treat emotions as commands, you surrender your judgment. When you treat them as signals, you regain control. A signal carries information, not instructions. Pain signals that something is wrong, but it does not tell you how to act wisely. Hunger signals a need, but it does not decide what you should eat. In the same way, emotions point to something happening inside or around you, but they do not know what action will serve you best. Many people live as if emotions are orders that must be obeyed immediately. Anger says speak now, and they speak. Fear says run, and they retreat. Desire says take, and they reach. This obedience feels natural, but it creates chaos. A life ruled by emotion is unstable because emotions change with every moment. When you see emotions as signals, you create space. You can ask what the emotion is trying to tell you. Anger may signal that a boundary feels crossed. Fear may signal uncertainty or risk. Sadness may signal loss or fatigue. Understanding the message does not mean acting on the feeling. Control begins with naming the emotion. Saying to yourself, this is anger, this is fear, this is frustration. Naming creates distance. It reminds you that the emotion is something you experience, not something you are. This simple act weakens its grip. The body often reacts before the mind. The heart rate increases. The breath shortens. Muscles tighten. If you act while the body is in this state, your actions will reflect tension and urgency. By slowing the breath and relaxing the body, you reduce the emotional charge. The signal becomes clearer, less distorted. Emotions are temporary. They rise, peak, and fall. When you give them time, they soften on their own. Many regrets come from acting at the highest point of emotion. A calm moment later reveals a better path that was hidden by intensity. Responding wisely means listening without obeying. You acknowledge the emotion without letting it take the wheel. You allow reason to guide action. Reason considers consequences, values, and long-term outcomes. Emotion only cares about immediate relief. This does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means becoming steady. A steady person feels deeply but acts carefully. They are not disconnected from emotion. They are not controlled by it. Training this skill requires patience. The mind has been reacting for years. It will resist change. It will demand quick action. Each time you pause and choose reason, you weaken old habits and build new ones. When emotions are treated as commands, others can manipulate you easily. A single insult can control your mood. A small inconvenience can ruin your day. When emotions are treated as signals, outside events lose their power over you. You begin to trust yourself more. You know that no feeling can force you into action. You know that you will act according to your principles, not your impulses. This trust creates inner peace. A mind that understands emotions as signals becomes clear and resilient. It does not deny feelings, and it does not worship them. It listens, learns, and then chooses the right response with calm awareness. Silence is often misunderstood as weakness, but in truth, it is one of the strongest forms of control. Most people feel an urge to speak the moment they feel challenged. Words rush out to defend pride, to prove a point, to win an argument. In that rush, peace is lost. Silence interrupts this pattern and protects the inner state. When you stay silent, you give yourself time. Time to observe, time to understand, time to choose. This time is valuable because it keeps you from being dragged into unnecessary conflict. Many arguments do not begin because of deep issues, but because of quick words spoken without thought. Silence prevents small sparks from becoming fires. Silence does not mean submission. It means discernment. It means knowing when speech will add value and when it will only add noise. Not every opinion deserves an answer. Not every provocation requires a reply. When you stay silent, you refuse to play games that drain your energy. The mind becomes clearer in silence. Without the need to respond immediately, emotions settle, the body relaxes, the urge to defend fades. In this calm space, you can see the situation more clearly. You may realize that the issue is not as serious as it first appeared, or that responding would only worsen it. Silence also protects dignity. Words spoken in anger often return as regret. Once spoken, they cannot be taken back. Silence avoids this risk. It keeps your character intact. It allows you to act later with intention, rather than react now with impulse. Many people seek reaction. They provoke to feel powerful or to shift attention. When you respond with silence, you deny them this reward. Your calm becomes a mirror that reflects their agitation back to them. This quiet strength often ends conflict faster than any argument could. Silence gives you control over your energy. Words cost energy. Arguments drain it quickly. When you choose silence, you conserve your strengths for things that truly matter. You stop wasting emotional resources on situations that do not deserve them. There is also wisdom in listening. Silence allows you to hear more than words. You notice tone, intention, and emotion. You learn more about others and about yourself. This understanding helps you respond better later. If a response is needed at all, silence creates space between stimulus and action. In this space, reason has room to speak. You can ask yourself whether this moment deserves your attention. You can decide whether your values are served by engaging or by stepping away. Practicing silence is difficult at first. The ego wants to speak. It wants recognition and validation. Resisting this urge feels uncomfortable, but discomfort is temporary and strength grows through it. Each time you remain silent when reaction is expected, you strengthen self-control. Over time, silence becomes natural. You stop feeling the need to explain yourself to everyone. You stop trying to win every conversation. You become selective with your words, and your words gain weight because of it. A person who is comfortable with silence cannot be easily disturbed. They are not rushed by pressure or pulled by provocation. Their peace is not dependent on being understood or agreed with. Silence is not empty. It is full of awareness, restraint, and confidence. It is a shield that protects inner peace in a noisy world. Energy is limited, even if the mind pretends it is not. Every thought, every reaction, every emotional response costs something. Many people live exhausted not because life is too heavy, but because they give their energy to everything that touches them. They argue over small things. They worry about opinions. They chase validation. In doing so, they scatter their strength. Not everything deserves your energy. This understanding is a form of wisdom. It requires clarity to see what matters and discipline to ignore what does not. Without this filter, the mind becomes crowded and restless, pulled in too many directions at once. Most distractions arrive disguised as importance. A comment, a message, a rumor, a minor inconvenience all demand attention. The mind reacts automatically, believing each one requires a response. Over time, this constant engagement weakens focus and drains inner peace. Choosing where to invest energy is an act of self-respect. When you pause before engaging, you protect your mental space. You stop reacting to every external pull and start acting from intention. Many conflicts are optional. They exist only because someone decided to engage. You always have the choice to step back. Walking away is not avoidance when the situation offers no growth or value. It is conservation. Energy should be reserved for what aligns with your values, your work, your health, your character, your growth. When you waste energy on things beyond your control, you have less left for what truly depends on you. The mind becomes sharper when it is not constantly disturbed. By ignoring unnecessary noise, you create room for clarity. Decisions become easier. Emotions become steadier. You begin to move through life with less friction. There is strength in letting things pass. Not every slight needs defense. Not every mistake needs rumination. Not every thought needs belief. The ability to let go is as important as the ability to act. Social pressure often pushes people to engage in what does not matter. Opinions, comparisons, and expectations compete for attention. When you detach from these pressures, you regain independence. Your sense of worth becomes internal, not dependent on reaction. Training this skill requires awareness. Notice what drains you. Notice what leaves you feeling empty or agitated. These are signs that energy is being spent without return. Gradually, you learn to say no without guilt and to remain silent without discomfort. Protecting energy is not selfish, it is responsible. A drained mind cannot act wisely. A tired spirit cannot remain calm. By guarding your energy, you become more present and effective where it counts. When you stop feeding every distraction, the mind settles. Peace becomes more stable. You no longer feel pulled apart by endless demands. A disciplined mind understands that life is not improved by reacting to everything. It is improved by choosing carefully. Strength grows not from constant engagement, but from deliberate focus. When energy is spent with intention, life feels lighter and more controlled. You move forward without carrying unnecessary weight. Steady and clear in your direction. Control begins with understanding limits. Many people suffer not because life is harsh, but because they try to control what was never theirs. They struggle against other people's behavior, against outcomes, against the past, against chance. This struggle creates frustration, anger, and helplessness. Peace starts when you clearly see what depends on you and what does not. What depends on you is small but powerful: your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your actions. This is your territory. Everything else exists outside it. Other people's opinions, words, moods, and decisions belong to them. Events unfold according to forces far beyond your will. When you confuse these boundaries, you exhaust yourself. The mind often believes that worrying is a form of control. It repeats the same thoughts, imagining different outcomes, replaying conversations, predicting failure. This does not change reality. It only drains energy. Once you realize that worry has no power over outcomes, you can redirect attention to what truly matters. Control over your thoughts means choosing how you interpret events. The same situation can be seen as an insult or as noise, as a failure or as feedback, as a threat or as a lesson. The event does not decide this, you do. This choice shapes your emotional state more than the event itself. Control over your actions means acting according to values, not moods. You may feel angry, but you choose restraint. You may feel afraid, but you choose courage. Feelings come and go, but actions leave traces. A disciplined action builds character, even when emotions resist. Many people delay responsibility by focusing on what others should do. If only they were kinder, if only they understood, if only circumstances were fair. This thinking gives away power. When attention shifts back to your own conduct, strength returns. Accepting what does not depend on you is not giving up. It is realism. You stop wasting energy fighting reality. Acceptance creates calm, and calm allows better decisions. Resistance creates tension, and tension clouds judgment. When something goes wrong, the disciplined mind asks one question: what is mine to handle here? This question brings clarity. You may not control the outcome, but you can control effort. You may not control respect, but you can control behavior. You may not control success, but you can control preparation. This focus simplifies life. Instead of chasing control everywhere, you concentrate it where it works. You stop being pulled into unnecessary stress. You act with purpose instead of panic. Controlling what depends on you also builds resilience. When results fail, you do not collapse, because your sense of worth is not tied to outcomes. You measure yourself by effort and integrity, not by applause or reward. Others may misunderstand you. Plans may fail. Opportunities may pass. These things hurt, but they do not define you. What defines you is how you respond. Each response is a choice. Each choice shapes the kind of person you become. Practicing this principle daily strengthens the mind. Small moments matter. Choosing patience instead of irritation. Choosing effort instead of complaint. Choosing silence instead of reaction. These moments accumulate. Over time, the mind becomes steady. External chaos loses its grip. You stop feeling at the mercy of life. You feel grounded, because your focus rests where control truly exists. A person who controls what depends on them moves through life with quiet confidence. They do not beg reality to change. They adjust themselves and move forward with clarity and strength. Discipline is often mistaken for punishment, restriction, or coldness. In truth, discipline is the highest form of strength. It is the ability to choose what is right over what is easy. It is the power to act according to principle, even when emotions pull in another direction. Without discipline, strength is unstable. Raw force fades quickly. Motivation rises and falls. Emotions change by the hour. Discipline remains when all of these fail. It carries you forward when desire is gone and comfort is tempting. True strength is not loud. It does not need to prove itself. It is quiet, consistent, and controlled. A disciplined mind does not rush into action. It observes, decides, and then acts with intention. Discipline begins with small choices. Waking up when the body wants to sleep. Staying calm when anger wants to speak. Continuing effort when the mind wants to quit. These moments may seem small, but they shape character over time. Most people wait to feel strong before acting. The disciplined person acts first and allows strength to follow. Action trains the mind. Repetition builds confidence. Waiting for the perfect feeling keeps people stuck. Discipline also means saying no. No to distraction. No to excess. No to comfort that weakens resolve. Every no strengthens self-respect. Every no protects future goals. The undisciplined mind seeks relief. It reacts to discomfort by escaping or indulging. The disciplined mind accepts discomfort as part of growth. It understands that ease creates fragility, while challenge creates resilience. Discipline brings freedom. This may sound contradictory, but it is true. A mind ruled by impulse is not free. It is dragged by urges, habits, and moods. A disciplined mind chooses its path. Choice is freedom. Emotional discipline is especially powerful. Feeling anger without acting on it. Feeling fear without retreating. Feeling desire without surrendering to it. This control creates inner stability. You stop being pushed around by internal storms. Physical discipline supports mental discipline. When you care for the body through movement, rest, and restraint, the mind becomes sharper. Order in one area creates order in others. Discipline also builds trust in yourself. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, confidence grows. You begin to believe in your ability to endure and to act wisely. This belief is unshakable because it is earned through action. Others may not notice your discipline. There is no applause for restraint. No praise for consistency. But the reward is internal. Calm, self-respect, direction. Life becomes simpler with discipline. Decisions become clearer. You stop negotiating with yourself endlessly. You know what you will do because you know who you are. Strength without discipline is chaos. Discipline without strength is fragile. Together, they form a steady force that cannot be easily broken. A disciplined person does not need to dominate others to feel powerful. They have already mastered the hardest task, mastering themselves.